Welcome on in, Canada, to CBC Sports Reacts to Canada's Ultimate Challenge. I'm your host, Andi Petrillo. This episode in the Yukon, talk about some beautiful imagery, but also talk about something coming out of left field. Coaches, players alike, they did not expect the player shuffle. Imagine not being protected by your coach. Ouch! Imagine not getting picked by another coach. Double ouch. Or in the case of Jill Street, she was actually really devastated that she did get picked by Team Waneek. Visibly distraught. Speaking of Team Waneek, not a good episode for them. Penalty after penalty. That included Victoria during the bridge build, dropping one of the bags.
At this point, they're almost 2 minutes ahead of the best time so far. Incredible.
I'm taking 2 at a time. No, Victoria.
Victoria, you do not drop that.
No, for sakes. No, she didn't.
Oh, that had to be so devastating, just watching the bag plummet down below. Victoria's joining us here on CBC Sports Reacts. Victoria, do you still have some nightmares about that?
Honestly, it was quite a day for me. I was so excited because I was in the Yukon, the Northern Territory. I felt very at home. I was so excited that day, and honestly, it didn't go as well as I hoped, but I think that in the end, I came through and I pulled my weight for the team, and I'm just glad that I tried my best that day, because I know everyone was pretty upset with me. They weren't showing that, but I knew that they were feeling a little upset with me that I screwed up. You know, I dropped the bag, literally.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know because Waneek was saying, don't carry 2, whatever you do, don't carry 2. Now, you ultimately had to carry 2 to make up time. You do finish with the best time, but you get penalized because of dropping the bag. But how did you make that switch in your head where you see the bag go down? You know you didn't listen to the coach. It cost you, but now you got to hustle to at least stay in the game. How did you do that 180 with your thinking?
I basically just, because my other teammates, they planned on carrying 2 the whole time. We discussed it, but Waneek, she was kind of hesitant to let me do the 2 bags. But once I dropped the first bag, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to change my technique. So I was carrying it a bit differently. Some of my teammates had a better technique with it, but I just didn't know until, I screwed up. But I think I ended up carrying like two in both hands or 1 in each hand or something like that. And I figured out a way to maneuver it, but I had to change up my technique. And obviously, like that's what taught me how to do it right and what not to do.
What was the hardest challenge for you?
I think I'd say definitely the bridge challenge in Whitehorse, just because I never wanted to be a hindrance to my team. I never wanted to be the weakest player. So I felt like that day I felt that burden on me, the loss of a challenge. Like you said, we almost got the best time. Well, we had the best time. And then because of the bag, that set us back a lot. And I think I even mentioned that during the results. And so, I was pretty upset. But then, my team and I, we talked about it. And they just said, like, you can't dwell on this. You have to move forward. And we're going to be in this together. And it's okay to mess up.
You may have bonded with your teams. You may have not. Either way, we will shake things up.
You will pick one player from an opposing team who will now be a new member of your team.
What? But first, you will get to protect one member of your team, your most valuable player. This player could not be traded.
All right, let's talk about the curveball, though, that was thrown your way in this episode, which, of course, was the player shuffle. And I'm just wondering how you feel as a player, because your coach can protect someone. And they're going to go and choose someone, and a coach from another team, could even choose you. How do you, as the competitor, feel when you hear? First of all, when you heard that was going to happen, what ran through your mind?
We all knew that there was going to be a twist, but we didn't know what it was going to be. And then apparently some other people kind of had thoughts about, oh, I know who might be picked shortly after that was announced. So all of us were really kind of on our toes with that because we didn't know who was going to be picked. But at the same time, we had an idea of who was going to be the picked player, right? So some people, they were already kind of a shoo-in just because they are a strong player, a strong person. They have the image, they have everything that the coach wants to see in their team. But I think the hard part about that was some people deserved maybe that spot or maybe not. And I think on the coach's perspective, that might have been a really hard choice because all of us have qualities that could, be that star player, be that picked person, but not everyone was picked. So I think a lot of people took that to heart, maybe, and it was hard for some people to deal with. I know it was hard for me to deal with, to see someone else being, put to the top and everyone else just put down. But at the same time, those people were picked for a reason, and I'm so proud of them because they deserved it, honestly.
Well, Victoria, it's been great having you on this reaction show. Next episode is going to be elimination time, so we're going to see a team go home. Let's see how Dilpreet fits in with your team. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us here today.
All right, thank you. Nice meeting you.
We'll see how Victoria's new teammate Dilpreet fits in with Team Yellow as they look to stave off elimination next week. Yeah, you heard me right. I said elimination next week, episode 4. The first team goes home. Right now, Team Donovan, Team Clara, they're tied for last place. Will one of them be able to avoid being eliminated? Will another team end up at the bottom? Oh, the drama. You'll have to tune in next week, CBC, 8 p.m. And then we will have all the reaction right here on CBC Sports Reacts to Canada's Ultimate Challenge.